welcome back to my channel IndigoAngel. If you're new, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and if you're returning, hit the notifications bell to continue to stay connected to my messages. And as always, thank you so much for your love and support of my channel. Happy new moon in Virgo. Today I have a Pleiadian soul genetic message for Pleiadian Starseeds and those who have attuned to this celestial template or origin within. So this new moon in Virgo is called the Iron Maiden and very much carries the energetic signature and template of the Pleiades, as the 7 Pleiadian sisters are the virgin companions of Artemis. So we have that virgin energy that's kind of being activated within the encoding, within the consciousness and the psyche of the base radial manifestation templates of all humans who are attuning to these specific ascension codes within the DNA. And overall, we are going through major planetary celestial template updates, upgrades, and re-encoding through many celestial alignments, not just the Pleiadian, but we are going through Arcturian, Sirius, Antares, Pleiades, Hydra. So this is not just limited to the Pleiadian activations, but very much the multidimensional sub-harmonic radial transmissions and reflection. And this is all according to also the matching planetary grid sites. So much is still very much transmitting through Lake Titicaca, Peru, and Machu Picchu, Peru. Lake Titicaca, Peru being the sacral chakra of the planet. And this is bringing through major higher humanity encodements and encoding. Okay, so we're going through completely new humanity re-encoding. And you can see the transmission of the collective wave as political campaigns have been really zeroing in on global warming. I know I'm going to get stuff for talking about specific parties, but if anyone has watched Senator Bernie Sanders, I watched his live in South Carolina last night. I just kind of came across it, but it spoke to the depth of my heart. I mean, I was really basically pulled into everything that he was saying last night, because damn, okay, they have stepped it up in their fight for the health of the planet. They were literally throwing out statistics that we have 12 years to complete shift to renewable energy, or scientists are saying that the damages will be completely irreversible, and stating that if by 2050, if we do absolutely nothing, that these heat waves that we're experiencing, because July and August were the hottest months on record in the history of the planet, period. Okay, period, ever in the history of Earth that they've been record tracking, July and August have been the hottest ever. So they're saying by 2050, if we do absolutely nothing, that all of these heat waves are going to triple in intensity, and also in the time that they are affecting parts of the nation. So if a nation's used to having heat waves for like 30 days, it's gonna be tripled to 90 days. And so this is just going to keep pushing and increasing and intensifying, and it's going to eventually send the country into a state of declared emergency, as it's going to not only increase electrical bills for people that are trying to stay cool, but it's going to put all of our elderly at risk, all of our children at risk of heat stroke. It's going to increase the death rate. And then also by 2050, the sea levels will have rose by like an incredible amount that's actually bringing the water into major cities by miles. So yeah, there's just, it's going to be a big deal if we don't make these changes. And so it's putting a lot of pressure on government right now, regardless what political party it is, whether it's Bernie Sanders, whether it's Trump, whatever. Through these fires, through these world events, this is, pushing our government in general to make changes so that we desperately need to start healing our planet, you know? So this is pushing equal rights. Even the indigenous women of Peru, okay, they're the indigenous women of Bolivia, they're all standing right now and they're fighting for their land. They're fighting for freedom, for the lungs of the planet. And they're not okay with turning over this land that they need for precious resources for the corruption of the government. And so this is a lot of forward acceleration. This is thrusting this Pleiadian energy right now, which is what is needed, because the Pleiadians are the radial source origin, the radial source light that is most identified through that fourth dimensional frequency band, through the heart chakra. They are the origin and the radial light source that is most represents the heart chakra of the human body and within the planet. Okay, and so we're having major heart chakra awakening on the planet right now. Major acceleration of the fourth strand DNA activations. So the DNA is completely being refigured right now from the second dimensional band of the planet. So all of this is deeply rooted within the emotions and within the water, because that second dimensional band, Lake Titicaca, Peru, that is the highest elevation of water on the planet. That is why it is considered the sacral chakra. So all energy is coming through water right now. Like, even if you're drinking water right now, you are receiving new humanity encodements through the water you're drinking, because this energy is so universal within all connections, all energetic tethering, all electronic data streaming through all aspects of energy. So this new moon really couldn't be more needed, because the purification and the redirection that a Virgo new moon would really thrust into action, because right now we're planting seeds collectively and individually, planetarily, for humanity to receive these new encoding of intentions that are going to be sowed into this fertile soil. Okay, so I had sensed 2 weeks ago, prior to the breakout story of the fires in Bolivia, in Peru, when I came into the awareness of that Arcturian grid site that was activating, that planetary sacral chakra rewrite that we were aligning into. If you are just catching this video today, please go check out the Arcturian grid site video. I will leave a link at the top, as that was all pre-fire. Okay, so you can see how we have been aligning to these celestial templates of Arcturus, Antares, and Pleiades, and that is why I have this Mayan Interdimensional Star Map out today, is because the Mayans have nailed this alignment. They have absolutely nailed it, and I'm going to explain it in deeper aspects to you guys. But also, after this new moon, we're going to be going through 2 galactic portal activations. So this new moon today is kicking this off, and then September 1st and September 2nd, tomorrow and the day after, expect acceleration of planetary healing. So we are coming together because we have specific gateways that are opening through this holographic beam. Okay, so this Mayan Interdimensional Map, this is the omni-galactic source, this is the metagalactic core from the Milky Way. This would be considered a universal identity of the Melchizedek entity, and we're receiving beam activations through this center rod. Okay, so this is a holographic rod that is going straight through the omni-galactic core, Hunabku Galactic Sirius, Pleiades, Midway Station, through our sun, and through the crystal earth core. Okay, and it's being generated and stabilized by Arcturus and Antares. I'm going to explain this more in just a second, but I'm just so excited I can barely get this information out, because I'm just really activated by this myself. But I'm going to show you this, using this Mayan Interdimensional Star Map. It's a Mayan Interdimensional Cathara grid that represents the structural templates to this alignment, which is pretty freaking incredible if you ask me how much the Mayans actually got this right. Because I have always looked at this Cathara, and it's never aligned to the Universal Celestial Cathara grid template that I've been using from another system. And I've been trying to tie in like how and where these connect, and I feel like I've identified the alignment. I finally have identified it, so I'm really just trying to give you guys this information. But for those of you who are just joining me, and to catch you up to speed just really quickly, I deliver messages from a foundational experience of celestial ascension from using these celestial Cathara grids as my base radio manifestation templates of my perception. So basically describing this from the point that you're awakening to your celestial origins is just the beginning processes and phases in celestial ascension, because you go from awakening to ascension to physical body ascension into galactic and quantum consciousness, and then you enter into celestial ascension, which is where you go into a quantum process of identifying and bringing those base radial templates to consciousness. So galactic crystal seed forms of your origins, you're bringing that into consciousness, into awareness. And then we awaken to the galactic realms through the quantum experiences of the radial alchemical shifts within the body. Okay, and this is according to the encoding of the specific radial light source of activation, and according to the planetary grid sites that are activating within the planetary quantum. Okay, so planetary quantum overrides human quantum through ripple effects of energetic waves of cause and effect through a bipolar scalar wave within a morphogenetic field, okay? And I explain a lot about the bipolar wave in the morphogenetic field on my Patreon, so if you are looking to learn more about that, patreon.com/IndigoAngel. $11 a month gets you full access to get you caught up on some of this vocabulary, okay? But essentially, we identify this through 6 major origins, and that's what we awaken to, okay? But then it's a process of bringing the celestial ascension into full activation, where you bring more and more of that radial soul genetic and ability to access to the encodements and new portions of your Grail identity. And that's what I'm coming into the awareness of recently, is how much these celestial templates activate the Grail line. So I'm going to get into Grail retrieval at some point. Just give me some time on that one. But as this celestial radial light template and planetary grid site is activating the new encodements within the planet, it's also activating that within the human body, which means the new encodements are activating through the planetary and human Cathara grids. Okay, and there's lots of different ones of these, and I go into that in explanation more too. But the Cathara grids are the base manifestation templates that radial energy enters into emergence into matter, vibrating and oscillating their divine attainments and guiding spirit on a quantum level within the body, which is why I have the Mayan Celestial Cathara out right now. And the Mayan Interdimensional Star Map breaks it down in accordance to the celestial templates that the Mayan civilization has identified with as a networking system, and a transit system, an integration system. And I absolutely love this version of the Cathara because it's truly a galactic representation of fourth dimensional time and dimensionalized space. This is really not too far off from making the identifications of the Stargate grid sites in accordance to the universal celestial templates. This is just a little bit different in it. It takes in more accordance of the feminine and masculine aspects of the grid. Okay, so this one does not specifically align to grid sites on the planet, even though it does. It's just, I personally haven't identified the Antares grid site. I was picking up the other day that the Antares grid site was located in Persia, or it had something to do with Persia. So if anybody has any information on that, please give that to me, because I would like to be able to find some confirmation in the Antares grid site on the planet. But like I said, it's a process of bringing 48 strand genetics up into conscious awareness for me to be able to identify that. So anyways, what I'm saying is this interdimensional star map follows a sequencing pattern masculine and feminine. So all on the right side would be considered the feminine, and that includes Alpha Mother Galaxy, Antares, and the etheric Mother Sun that connects to the crystal Earth. On the left side, you have the Father Quantum, which is the Father Galaxy, Arcturus, and the etheric Sun into the crystal Earth. Okay, so over the last couple weeks, I identified the location and the timing of the Arcturian grid activation, which I could feel brought through not only the Arcturian light activations, but it was bringing through Antares activations too. Those of you who follow me on Facebook probably seen that I was posting a lot on Antares. I had reposted my Antares activation from my Vimeo, and I actually got like a lot of people into it. So I know that that was confirmation that that Antares template was activating with the Arcturian one. And for those of you who don't know, Arcturus and Antares also follow one another in activation because they are so close within proximity to one another. Arcturus is between Virgo and Libra, and then Antares is within Scorpio. According to tropical astrology, they'll say that it's 9 degrees Sagittarius, but I beg to differ because I go according to the Indian astrology, which is sidereal based. Because of the fact that I pick up on and interpret all of the celestial radial light origins way in advance, so I cannot follow a system that is lagging behind. Not saying that I don't love Western astrology. I grew up on Western astrology. I identify with my Western astrology birth chart, but it is lagging in time because it is separating by 1 degree every 72 years from the sidereal time track, which sidereal is aligning to the precessions of the equinox, okay? So I'm just like, blah, 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 throwing all of this out for you guys, but essentially they're just getting farther and farther and farther apart, and the Western astrology is gonna be revamped at some point. Mark my words, 72 years from now, somebody will revamp the Western astrology system to make it more accurate with that precession, because we're actually going further. I don't even think sidereal is keeping up completely with the alignments of the sun and how that's aligning to the equatorial plane. And I also want to notate that there has been a shift in the degree of the way that the sun is actually coming from rising, culmination, and setting. It's coming in from a more northern aspect, and then it's coming in more. It's interesting the movements that it's doing right now, because it's activating the Pleiades in the setting aspect. So that means it's riding more along the equatorial plane because it is activating Antares, Arcturus, and then it's activating Pleiades in the setting aspect. And you can see how the Mayans got it right with this activation. They pretty much line Antares, Pleiades, and Arcturus up all within the setting. And then when you actually look at the celestial grid points in the sky and how the sun is aligning, it is bringing through the exact activation that the Mayan Interdimensional Star Map is saying that it would. Which is why I have this Celestial Cathara out right now. But they're also in polarity to one another as well, because you have Arcturus in the masculine and Antares in the feminine. And then I feel like the Pleiades is the birthing of those divine virgin sisters, okay, that brings through the purification of that energy as it solidifies itself into our sun. I've also heard tales that Arcturus is the mother to Antares. I've always kind of identified with that as well. I knew that they had a special relationship to one another, but I never saw it as like a mother-child, that like Arcturus birthed Antares, but I do feel that there is definitely a profound transit system between the two. And besides the point, I also feel they assist the birthing and generation to the Pleiadian Photon Belt. So there is something with Antares and Arcturus that is a part of the Pleiadian Photon Belt, because the Pleiades is at 180 degree opposition to both Antares and Arcturus. Maybe not in a complete straight line, but within a relativity of awareness, they are in opposition to one another. The Pleiades carries the higher dimensional fields to Tara, And that is the core holographic template within the Earth's core to the 5th dimension. And, well, 4th through 6th dimension. And it follows a natural path of interdimensional energy circulation to the 2nd dimensional band in the planet. And they assist the time cycles of the precessions, which is 26,000 years, 556 years long. Okay, and so all of the harmonic time cycles are synchronized through the particle pulsation rates within each of the 15 dimensional bands. And why I say 15 dimensional bands is because these represent the 15 dimensional bands, the actual lines that connect the Stargate systems, the spheres of the God world that it's connecting to. So that makes the celestial templates 15 dimensional. Okay, so when Earth enters like half points in its ascension cycle, there is what this holographic beam essentially activates. Okay, but I want to beg the differ right now. I feel like today, tomorrow, and September 2nd, we will be receiving portions of this holographic beam. Because the grid is fusing with the antiparticle Tara. It's actually fusing with that harmonic time cycle, and they synchronize. And so the Earth reaches this point, and not only does it warp the space-time in the lower harmonic universes, but it occurs all the way through all of the 5 harmonic universes. And then this portal opens up this entire band, is what's happening. And it's happening right now. And that's why we're gonna have rapid planetary acceleration of healing right now. We're gonna be receiving so much light right now. It's coming in from so many different gate transits. And basically, it's a beam that passes from the metagalactic core, and it goes through all of the harmonic universes, so we can refer to it as a holographic beam. And this is the primary spiral that's transmitting energy that feeds and sustains all of the dimensional systems and the holograms of matter which take place in those systems, including crystal Earths. And this is going to actually spiral down through various planetary cores, including Alcyon and the Pleiades. And also other planets from our solar system are also going to be affected. It's not just the core of the sun, but it's also all the planets in the solar system and their cycles within their orbits. And it's going to align with the sun in a particular way and pass through the projection of this holographic beam. And I also wanted to throw some information out here. So this is coming from Guardian Consciousness. This is coming from Galactic Intelligence. But this is so I'm being shown that basically our sun is like the 8th star in the Pleiadian system. So during like these cataclysms that happened over 550 million years ago, fragments of Tara's morphogenetic field were pulled through the center of this Pleiadian star, and the planets of Earth's solar system, which are fragments of Tara, were then reformed around this star. And there's just all this speculation, but it is suggesting that our solar system is a binary solar system having 2 suns, and Alcyon would be the central sun of the Pleiadian star system, and it's actually the primary sun of our solar system. So our sun is a star within the Pleiadian solar system, essentially, and that's why the Pleiades have been referred to as the Photon Belt. And then this was actually discovered like by Earth scientists back in 1961 through all of their mechanical observations of these star systems, and they're saying that these photons are created through the fusion of the multidimensional particles and antiparticles. So the photon belt is the residual energy left from the last morphogenetic wave. And it was the energy that is replenished every 26,000 years from the holographic beam that projects through Alcyon. And it comes through during the ascension cycles. So this will come through twice during the ascension cycles, but I feel strongly that we are receiving pulsations and rhythms, oscillation, vibration through the holographic imprints, through this beam, through the next 3 days. We're going to be integrating from this portal structure. Yes, so namaste. I love you guys so much. In addition, I'm also feeling Andromeda too. I don't know if anyone else is picking up Andromeda, but that is also heightened for me as well. That may be my next message, is an Andromedan collective message, but we'll see. I'm also picking up on FOMO halts. I don't know if anyone else is picking up on that, but yes, I hope you guys enjoyed this message today, and I will be back with another collective message. Namaste, Pleiadian Starseeds, Arcturian Starseeds, Hybridized Starseeds. Love you guys so much. I will be back with another message. Namaste.